what I'm about to tell you is an accurate representation of reality. So let's get started. Okay. Imagine for a moment you are someone with a talent for cooking. You're very good with cooking something, anything. Any dish, for instance, wonton mee, maybe, or some kind of rice dish or anything like that. And you felt that you want to open a restaurant. Yeah, you don't have money on your own. So what you do is you try to convince the rest of your family to chip in whatever amount they can give you. And eventually you met a lot of friends, you met a lot of family, and you got the capital you need to open the business. You found a pretty nice shop lot, a pretty nice shop lot with reasonable amount of human traffic, with a reasonable amount of other stores too, and you just decide, okay, this is where I'll open my business. You pay the rent, you buy your kitchen equipment, you buy your stock and everything, you buy your furniture, and in a matter of a few weeks, you open the business. And it was a very nice moment for you. The moment you open a business, customers started visiting you. They love your food and more come. And you were having the time of your life. You worked yourself there. Maybe you get a few family members off and on who help you out at the front of the house. Life was good. That's what you think. Although you put in a lot of investment and you are still in the red, because most businesses they're always in the red. But with a little luck, a year or two, you might have the chance of breaking even. And that's what you're hoping for. The first 2 months passed by pretty well. But suddenly, just suddenly, you notice something in the second month. You notice one of those days that customers did not appear whatsoever. You had no idea why. No one was coming in, and you didn't think much about it. Maybe you thought it was a slow day. And then, suddenly something happens. You see a group of 7 to 8 guys. They are pretty big, muscly men. Menacing looks. And they were dressed up in the way they look like they don't look like they were the friendly type. But in front of this group of 7 to 8 men was a guy who was wearing sunglasses. He kind of still looks like the other thugs behind him, but he definitely was wearing some fancier clothes, some branded stuff, some fancy stuff, but practical. Then he turns up into your store and he speaks to whoever was working the front of house, and he just says, "Can I speak to the owner of this restaurant, please?" You come out and that guy sees you. He's all smiles, he's all laughter and all smiles, shaking your hand, saying congratulations on your business and all of that jazz. And he say, I might take a chance to try your food, but that's not really all that matters. Then the next thing happens. What he says is, he tells you in all smiles, still smiling, still happy, says, "I want to formally invite you to enter our little community association of business owners. You can consider it like a little community of just the businesses on this street, where we're all one big family. Or if you want to be a bit more technical about it, it's like a union. Yeah, it's just a union. Don't worry about it." And what is the perks of joining this little community of ours? Well, simple. Firstly, you get the sense of camaraderie, being comrades. And everyone sticks together. We get to provide pressure to the local government and councils if they ever do anything wrong. We're in it together. And you get a bit of protection on the side. And that's a good deal, isn't it? Well, here is your chance to join. And with a very reasonable entry fee rate of $30,000. And after that, we have like a bi-monthly fee that we charge for your membership in our association, around $3,500 every 2 months because I like you. How does that sound? How does that sound? So he gives you this offer, okay? He gives you this offer and you think to yourself, you just opened the business 2 months ago. You are still in the red. You are still at a loss. You don't have the money. You certainly don't have the money to pay $30,000 up front to join this union or association. That is kind of out of the question. And you certainly don't have enough money to pay $3,500 every bi-monthly, especially when you also have to pay for the rent of your shops, of the shop house. You have to pay for the rent, you have to pay for the overhead, the electricity, you have to pay your supplier for supplying the food, and you have to pay your staff. There is nothing you can really do right now. You can't afford that amount of money. You can't join the association. So what do you do? Exactly what do you do? Well, some of you, if you are a bit on the naive side, you will say, thank you so much for the offer. Thank you so much for the offer. But I'm afraid right now our business is struggling a bit. Although we have a lot of customers, we are still in the red. We do not have the cash. We certainly can't pay you, but I was hoping if you're insistent on us joining, I was hoping that instead of that, maybe you can come back and ask me again in about 1 year or 1.5 years later when we are a bit more comfortable with our finances. How about that, mister? And suddenly, you see that really happy looking sunglasses guy. His face completely changed after that. No more smiles, no more laughter, no more boisterous laughter, no more cheerfulness. His face just turned still. Almost deadpan. His face turned still, he went silent, and what he does is he takes off his sunglasses. He takes off his sunglasses and then he looks at you straight in the eye. And he said a very simple sentence, and you start to realize the gravity of the situation. And he says, that was not a request. This is not a choice. That was all he says. But if you are still innocent and dumb, you just say, but we really do not have the money. And you just keep saying you do not have the money. And eventually this guy who is now very serious starts to sigh very loud. And he just says it to you straight and says, look, if this is what you're telling me, 3 options. 1, you find that money, you find that $30,000, you pay us within the next 2 days, you can run your business happily, with peace and calm, until the next bill, until the next fee date in 2 months' time. Or you can piss off, close your business, find somewhere else to open your business. Or if you insist on saying you don't have the money but you're still running this business, let's just say if something bad happens to your business, maybe a group of thugs break in and rob your store, starts harassing the customers, or start harassing you. Let's just say we are not always here around to watch over you. We can't guarantee you. We cannot guarantee your safety. We cannot guarantee your business will continue operating with peace. So these are your 3 choices. And with that, he gets up from his table and he says, in 2 days, I will come back and you can tell me your decision. I will work from there. That's the end of the story. I can tell you with some degree of confidence that that is exactly how things work. That's how things work in certain parts, certain streets. They will give you the prettiest words to convince you nicely and softly the first time. Oh, it is a union. Oh, we are just making sure that every shopkeeper and shop owner is treated fairly by the government, or something along the lines of that. All it takes is a little fee, a little monthly fee and a first time entry fee, and we will handle everything for you. And then you can't afford it. That's when problems start happening. All of the smiles, all of the pretty flowery words are all gone. And next thing you know, you have red paint thrown at your shop's entrance. And graffiti saying pay up. Pay up or get out. Why am I telling this story? Well, that was a theme of yesterday's stream. My yap for yesterday was about this topic specifically. And you all probably have seen my post on Twitter. Long story short is, SAG-AFTRA, from me watching their behavior for the past year at this point, reading their so-called 2024 signing agreements that they were pushing towards MiHoYo or any corporation or any employer for that matter, I am quite convinced. I am looking at history in the making.